It was definitely disappointing that there were no nominations, but there's so many factors in award shows. You've got the voters, and a lot of times in country music, if you're releasing a country record, you don't need to, but it's beneficial to you to invest in the community and really show yourself in that audience so the community feels an attachment to you. Like Nashville is very, 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 it's a club almost, and it's a community, and people need to feel like they need to know you, and so that was definitely a factor. It still doesn't make it not disappointing, you know. It, at least for Texas Hold'em, I just felt like that was such a beautiful country song, but we can only just move forward and try to continue pushing those boundaries and pushing for inclusion, and that's all we can do.
But Nashville in general is a community that when you come to town, you kind of pay your dues. And I feel like that's the way that the system runs. That's how country radio runs. I believe that's how a lot of these award shows and award voters typically go, is like, you gotta show up and you gotta be present. And you see, you saw Post Malone really ingratiate himself in the community here in Nashville, which I think contributed to him getting some of those looks. Shabuzi was nominated, but you also saw him playing CMA Fest and playing a bunch of these country festivals and doing that. She had one of the biggest albums and one of the best albums, but I also know how a lot of these voters vote, and her not being here probably didn't help her case for getting nominated. But again, I also think that what she was trying to do and what she did culturally is a lot bigger than anything that she would have been able to get from the CMAs. And I do think that she's done a really great job in helping to change the narrative in country music. And I would be surprised if she wasn't acknowledged in some respect at the Grammys, because she is also, that's an arena where she tends to do very well. Grammy voters are not just country listeners, so she's going to have a lot of people that are voting on the Grammys who are in the pop world, in the R&B world, in the hip hop world, who can understand maybe what that social and cultural impact of that album is, even more than people who are just in the country world who are like, well, we didn't see Beyonce here, so et cetera, et cetera. I do think that people on the Grammys and Grammy voting members are probably going to be a little bit more receptive to that than people would be on the CMA side.
I was like, I'm really just looking to see if it's Dolly Parton, because if it's Dolly, I have to leave. This conversation is over, but yeah.